Okay, it's real simple. I'm an author and an illustrator, but the best part of my job by far is getting the chance to come out to schools like yours and do author visits. I love that part of the job. And when I come to your school, I'm going to bring all the knowledge that I have on creating art and writing stories and putting together books. I'm going to bring lots of free posters for all your students. And I'm going to bring this, the Monster Crate. A 3x3 real wooden crate with actual working locks and chains. Now you're probably asking yourself, why would this lunatic bring a giant, heavy, very heavy, believe it or not, wooden crate to my school? Well, here's why. There's actually 3 reasons. Reason number 1, it's an attention getter. Can you imagine being a first grader on a Monday morning at 8:30? You're coming down the hall getting ready for a long day of school, and coming in the other direction down the hall is me with this. That's going to get your attention, and it tells all the students that today is going to be a fantastic day, that they're going to come to a presentation and find out what's inside. Reason number 2, it's an attention keeper. My presentations run around 40 to 45 minutes each, and they can vary from as few as 40 kids all the way up to about 250 kids. Now I bring a lot of interesting information, and I do a great performance, filled with jokes and stories and all sorts of interesting things for the kids. But there'll always be one student that gets bored of looking at my handsome face for a few moments. Well, to keep them engaged, I have the crate, because they'll always be asking themselves throughout the presentation, what's inside? Now I always tell the students in advance, number 1, there is something in there. I guarantee you that. Number 2, it's not scary. But unfortunately, I don't open it all the way till the end of the presentation. Reason number 3, and this is the main reason of why I bring the crate. It's the showstopper. Now here's the thing, I go through all sorts of information in my presentation. My own personal journey, my failures and my successes. I show them how to create a character, how to write a story, my process of how I put together all the pieces to form a book, where ideas come from, all sorts of interesting things. But it all culminates with the crate, and here's how. If I'm invited to your school, I'll recommend that 2 weeks before I come, you have your students do the project that's listed alongside this video. But even if you don't invite me, it's a really cool project to do with your students over a long weekend or whenever. The project's simple. It's called the Homemade Monster Project. And I ask the students to go around their house looking for old recyclables like soda bottles, some old mesh, shoelaces, shoe boxes, anything that they can find around their house, CDs, those make for good pieces to a monster, toilet paper tubes, any sort of recyclable, anything that's broken, anything that their parents say is okay for them to use because it's going in the garbage anyway. And it's always good to have some sparkles. And they take these objects and they're going to create a monster. Now here's why this project's important, and it ties together everything that I've spoken about through all of my presentation that they have just heard. I have 2 main jobs. I'm the artist and I'm also the writer. So the artist's job for them is to create a monster. Put it together, glue it together, give it eyes, give it ears, give it noses, multiple noses. Anything that they can imagine, paint it, color it, glue it, make it great. Now that's the art part of the job. But there's a second part of being creative, and that's writing. So I ask the students to write a page about their monster. Just 1 page describing him. What is he like? What does he dislike? What is he afraid of? Is he a boy? Is he a girl? Is he scared or is he scary? Does he smell? That's important because it engages the student to understand that it's not just about creating a character, but it's giving that character life through details and experiences. And then there's the most important part, giving that character a name. Everybody needs a name, and monsters definitely need a name. So by doing this project, it ties everything that I'm going to speak about, if they do it in advance, or if they do the project after they see me, it ties everything that they heard me talking about in creating a project. So, what's in the crate? Okay, By now it's the end of the presentation and it's time for the big finale to find out and reveal what's living inside my crate. Now a real crate with a real lock needs a real key. So we're going to open it up and we're going to find out what I have created. Okay, living inside my crate is my creation. I've also done the project that I asked the students to do or that I explained to them how to do. And this creation is one of about 4 or 5 monsters that I bring around to the different schools. And first I'll explain how I made him. His name is Ferguson Gobble Robber. And he's made out of an old styrofoam cooler, sort of like the ones that you take to the beach in the summer. His unibrow is made out of a paint roller that I cut in half and spray painted black. His eyes are made out of CDs, and his warts are actually super balls from the quarter machine that I cut in half and glued onto him. Now the coolest part about Ferguson, and the part the students love the most, is that he actually works. His mouth opens and closes. And that was easy because all I did was stick a pencil through the side of the styrofoam and gave him a working mouth. Now that's how I made Ferguson. But now the question is, what is his story? Well, here it is. Ferguson is a hungry, hungry monster. He loves to eat. The only problem is he doesn't eat like me and you. He actually thinks hamburgers are disgusting. He does not like chicken fingers, and he has never eaten a slice of pizza. Nope, nope, none of that. What Ferguson likes to eat is negative things. Things like negativity, bullying, mean comments, boredom, laziness, all sorts of negative things. That's what fills his stomach. So when I bring him to a school and I take him out of the crate, I have a student come up and I give them this and tell them that this represents negativity. So they get a chance to feed Ferguson some negativity and fill up his belly. Okay? Now, once he's been fed, Ferguson's not that different than me or you. He eats his food, goes down his throat, into his stomach, where he digests it. And again, he's not very different than me or you. So eventually, he's going to have to use the restroom. Problem is, it's a little bit different for Ferguson than it is for us. Because when he goes to the bathroom, when he uses the toilet, he poops out rainbows. Ferguson takes all that negativity and turns it into something more positive. Now this is always a big showstopper too, because they ask how I did that, but it's real simple. The ribbons are all tied underneath in a hidden compartment under Ferguson's body. So when I explain that, I tell the students to go home and try to figure out something unique and interesting to create for their monster to make it work. And believe me, I've seen monsters that light up, I've seen monsters that have springs, I've seen monsters that have all sorts of things coming out of them. So in conclusion, please feel free to take the project off my website, share it with your students, encourage them to be creative, make sure they write their stories for their monsters, and please, please, please send them to me because I'm going to be debuting a homemade monster gallery, a hall of fame of all the monsters that students from everywhere have sent me, and I'm going to put them on my website. I'm going to show you at the end of this video a few examples of ones that I've already gotten. And please check out my information because I'd love to come to your school and talk about all of my books. Thanks!